Tonight begins Slichos, and there's a certain excitement in the air. When you start off with Slichos, it's like, this is the moment. But sometimes I think that, talk to Chevra, you see that there's a disconnect from what's happening over here. So the Tfilos,
still reverberating, huh?
Yeah. The Tfilos of Yomim Neroim, of the Slichos, are really, when you get the Pirush HaMilos and you understand what the words mean, it assumes a whole different meaning. We start off the first tefillah. That moment is Ashrei is one of those most powerful tefillahs. Ashrei is the tefillah with which we begin the whole process. So Chazal tell us that Ashrei is designed in the Aleph Beis. Every letter of the Aleph Beis is expressed in the Ashrei. You go all the way from Aramim Chaylekai HaMelech, Cholim Avracheka, Godel Hashem, all the way down. And every letter is there except for the letter Nun. So why is Nun not there? Well, because Nun is the word Neufel. And then you say, yeah, but if you're looking for some negative words, you'll find every letter of the Aleph Beis somehow can think some negative word. So it isn't merely just a negative word. It's that the Nun goes against the whole notion of what we're trying to achieve in the Tefillah of Ashrei. What is Ashrei about? There's a ladies section over here, by the way, for all the ladies who want. So what's Ashrei about? In Ashrei we say Malchuscha, Malchus kol eilamim u'mimshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor. We're about to begin accepting the Malchus of Hashem. Rosh Hashanah is HaMelech Yeshev al Kisei Ram V'Nisa. That's the Malchus of Hashem. So we say, you know why there's worlds? You know why there's olamim? You know why there's life and everything about life? The reason is because Malchuscha, Malchus kol eilamim. Because Hashem wants to be Melech. There's only one reason why Hashem is Ne'elam. Why is Hashem hidden? Because he wants to be your Melech. He's not hiding. He's right there. He's present in front of you. And if you just look carefully, you'll see that Hashem is there. But what he wants is to afford you the opportunity to make him into a melech. So Malchuscha, your Malchus is Malchus Kol Eilamim. What's Memshaltecha? The difference between a melech and a moshel, if you speak Hebrew. A melech is a king. Malchus Everatzim Kiblu Aleim. A moshel is a dictator. Whether you like it or not, Hashem is the king. The question is, are you accepting him as king? Or is he a dictator, meaning you don't accept him as king, but he's there anyway? So Malchuscha Malchus Kol Eilamim. Hashem wants to be a melech, and that's why there's all these olamim. There's hidden. Hashem is a moshel. If he's a melech, if you accept him, he's a melech. If you don't, he's still your moshel. And then comes the nun. The nun is a nofel, because it goes against the whole grain of Ashrei. What's a noifel? A noifel is someone who didn't get the message. He falls. You may have had this experience whereby you forget about Hashem. You don't forget about Hashem, but you don't forget about Hashem, but you detach. And that means you fell into Olam Hazeh Agashmi. It became real to you. So when you're a noifel, you need to get up and rise. We were discussing before, what is Slichos about? It's about saying sorry. Not everyone identifies with saying sorry. I'm a good guy. Well, I should say sorry. Every year say sorry. What the sorry really is, you know what there's to be sorry for? When you realize that Hashem wants to be a melech. Hashem wants to be a king. And the only thing blocking Hashem from being king is you accepting him as king. So if you stop seeing God in this world and you start seeing the concealment of this world, then Hashem is no longer able to be the melech. He becomes a moshel. That's called being a noifel. And you become a noifel when you don't realize, we don't get who we are. It's like, in a certain sense, what's Slichos about? Me not realizing that I am a neshama, I'm a chelek elekami mal mamash, I'm a part of God. And God is being revealed and manifest through me and through you. And if you don't get that memo, that's a noifel. Noifel means, if you say to Hashem, I'm a good guy, I daven every day, I learn, I'm a good person, I'm a good guy, what do you want from me? And Hashem's like, you're a good guy, but you don't get what's going on. You're a nuclear energy. You're not a good guy. You're a nuclear energy. You have a part of God inside you. Hashem is part of who you are. That's what it is. You are me. We're in partnership, you and me. And if you didn't get that memo, you're a noifel. And so the next pasuk is, the nun fell, disappeared. But the samach captured the nun. Soimach Hashem l'chol hanoiflim. Hashem supports all those who fell. And what does it mean when you fell? It means when a person falls down and didn't get, he's not connected. It's like when you're on your phone in the middle of, there's a holy something going on, and you're immersed in the phone. That's a noifel. But Hashem supports all those who fall. But some people, they don't even notice that they're on their phone. So what's the difference between a noifel and a kafuf? A noifel is when you fall and you're flat on the ground. Kafuf means you're standing up, but you're bent over. So your feet are on the ground, but you're bent over. But Hashem picks up all those who fell, and he is able to support and raise up all those who are bent over. What does it mean to be bent over? It's when physicality, gashmias, becomes so dominant in your life that you forget the truth. You didn't get the memo. And then we turn to Hashem, we say, we're looking for you, God. We want to find you. You give them their food when? Be'itoy. What's be'itoy? Be'itoy is in the moment of davening. When you daven, you're able to reconnect. And Hashem is poisech es yadecha. He opens himself. and he gives you a rotzen. What's a rotzen? A reconnect. Because tzaddik Hashem b'chol dracha v'chosid b'chol ma'asav. Even though you're locked up in this world, Hashem is a tzaddik. He's able to connect to you in all his ways and his paths. And karov Hashem lechol korab lechol asher ke'u ve'emes. What do you need? To call Hashem with emet. What's missing in our lives, what we need more than anything else, is emes. And that's how we kick off Slichos. You want to know what Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is about? You want to know what this whole process is about? It's about not being blocked, not resisting the divine energy that's inside you. It's about you and me getting the memo. You're a neshama, chelek elekami ma'al mamish. You're a part of God. And you're a special being. Like, don't sell yourself short. You're nuclear energy. But you have to be able to call Hashem be'emet. And if you do, Ritzoin Yereyav Yaseh, which is not just he'll fulfill what you want, he will make what you want. Because what you really want is a connection. All human beings, what they want more than anything else is to feel connected. Because all the time we feel dark, disconnected. And there's nothing greater, more empowering than to be connected to Hashem. And so what is Slichos about? It's about me getting rid of all the negative energy and saying to Hashem, all I want is a connection. I want a connection. I want to make you into a melech. And that's my avodah. So it's not about what you did wrong. It's a wrong time to say, okay, what could I think about? Like, you see someone in my Slichos like, did I do anything wrong this year? Which Aveira is a big one I should pick on? Okay, let's think about that Aveira. Okay, Hashem, I'm so sorry for this Aveira. You're missing the point. The point is, the sorry is, it's not by going down to say sorry, it's by going up to Hashem. By realizing who is God. And so the whole Avodah of this time is to raise ourselves up, to go on an ascent, to find Hashem, to find a reconnect. Because if you find that reconnect, then you realize, oy vey, ochen vey, to where I'm holding and where I ought to be holding. And halavai, I can get to that space. That's the space of connection. What am I saying sorry for? Sorry for not realizing who I am and who you are in that context. So let's get into the mode. Sing some Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, Nigunim, to get into that space. Because, it doesn't look that way. It looks sometimes like we're just regular guys. But you're not. You're a part of God. And it's time to realize that. There's some music there. Oy chamo elal masecha v'sim chanyan v'maseh v'becha v'yayim elolecha Chazecha v'tzadek chamusecha chamo elal masecha sismach v'maseh v'becha v'yayim elolecha chayesecha v'tzadek chamusecha Ki magdishecha, Ay, 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 b'yem migdoizem dug nazadoin al kol masecha ki magdishecha yigdoshascha gidalta noel gadol ay, 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 b'yem migdoizem chamuel al mazeh b'mechor oy v'siz ma b'mazeh b'mechor I'll come most people, if you ask average one of us, do you believe in Hashem? Of course I believe in Hashem. What do you want? Believe in God? Yeah, I believe in God. What's the shaila? What we want to do tonight is to test that. To say, do you really believe in Hashem? What does that mean? So, in today's parsha, which we read, Moshe Rabbeinu tells Bnei Yisrael, he says, listen, guys, Atem re'item, you saw all that Hashem did to Mitzrayim. Hamasois agdoilois, ha'oisois v'amoifsim agdoilim, and you saw the amazing miracles. What do you mean? You guys saw, you were in Mitzrayim, you saw Hashem. So, that was God revealed. Then he continues, he says, ולא נתן השם לכם לב לדעת ועיניים לראות ואוזניים לשמוע עד היום הזה. You never sensed, you never knew Hashem until today. לא נתן השם לכם לב לדעת ועיניים לראות. You never had a heart to appreciate and eyes to see and ears to hear עד היום הזה. And when you read this verse, it seems to contradict itself from beginning to end. At the beginning, you're saying that you saw Hashem, you saw God. All of you saw Hashem and the wonderful miracles that he did in Egypt. He split the sea. He gave you the 10 plagues before that. Then later on, the man, all the wonderful miracles that Hashem did, and he gave you the Torah. You saw God. And then he says, you never knew God until today. Until now, 40 years later, as we're about to enter the land of Israel, it appears to be a contradiction. What he's really saying is, you want to get to know Hashem? Whatever you thought before, you got to shed those layers. When there's a moment like Slichos, there's got to be a before and after. If you think you know Hashem, then there's nothing what to do Slicha for. There's nothing what to say Slichot for. Slichos is to say, to realize, I'm a noifel, I fell down, I didn't get the memo, I'm not getting what Hashem is. And to be able to find a brand new connection to what God is, to be able to reconnect completely. So let's take a look at two understandings of God. You ask every person, every one of us over here, I have no doubt about it, I'm not even going to try. If I were to ask you the question, does anyone have any doubt in the existence of Hashem? I have no doubt about it. Every single person over here will say, of course, Hashem exists. No question.
It has to be for them.
No one doubts Hashem.
It has to be, otherwise there's no faith.
Yeah.
There's
No.
faith.
Faith is the next step. Watch.
Okay.
No one doubts that Hashem exists. But ask a person, if I ask you this question, what is Hashem doing to us on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, on the day of judgment? What does God want? It's now the day of judgment, Yom Adin. So what is Hashem about to do? He's about to judge us, right? How does he judge us?
Yeah.
Isn't it true that the image many of us have from when we were little kids is that he sits there like a judge, like you're watching court, and he's got this gravel over there, and he's going, Yishup, to the right, to the left. It doesn't look well for a Jew. But that's what it means. When he says, Kamo Yavrun, Kamo Yabareu, Mi Yichye, Mi Yamus, that's what it seems like. And so in our hearts, the image is that Hashem is a judge. He's outside of us. He's external. He's judgy. He's judgmental. Isn't it true that we sometimes look at Hashem from outside in instead of from inside out? We don't feel like we are partners in this business. We feel like Hashem is above, ordering us and telling us what to do. And nothing could be further from the truth. You see, all the nations of the world say, we recognize God. But we say it in Hallel. We say, Ram al kol goyim Hashem. Hashem is above all the nations. Ala shamayim kevoidoi. His glory is above the heavens. Hashem, they say, is above. What do we say? Mika Hashem Elokeinu. Hamagbi lo shoves. He sits above. He's all the way up. Hamashpili lirois ba shamayim uvaoretz. He's up and down, equal. We are Jews. And we Jews say, we are the sons of Abraham. Avram Avinu. And what did Avram do in the Abraham Accords? What did Avram Avinu do? He recognized God. Exactly. So Avram recognized God, and that's it. Now what are and that's it. All the nations know God today. Ramal Kol Goyim Hashem. What differentiates and makes us Jews unique in our knowledge of Hashem? What's different about being a Jew and knowing Hashem? You know what the difference is? The difference is Ram al Kol Goyim Hashem. To all the nations, Hashem is exalted. He's above. He's removed. What's Avram's message? Avram did not tell the world there's a God. They were all well aware there's a God. What Avram told the world is that the God that there is, Vayikra Sham Avram b'Shem Hashem, Kael Olam. Avram went and called the name of Hashem, and he said Hashem is Kael Olam. What's Kael Olam mean? God. Not God of the world. Then he would have said Kael Ha'olam. The Hey is missing. Avram did not tell people there's a God.
God is the world.
God is the world. God, world. God equals world. Remember that olam, that concealment? Malchus kol Elamim? So Avram went around telling the whole world that Hashem is real, that Kel is Olam and Olam Ukel. That's the message of Avram. That's a tough message to accept. Kel Olam and Olam Ukel, wow. That message of Avram is what makes us Jewish. It's what distinguishes us from everyone else, from the rest of the world. Everyone believes that Hashem is there. And we too are often looking at Hashem from outside in. We believe that Hashem is God. Of course he's God. But we don't see him every single step of the way. And what's our mission? To discover God every single moment, in every event, in every occurrence. What are we trying to achieve in our process in Slichos over here? We want to get to know Hashem. We want to build a relationship with God. Here's what you want to do tshuva for. Look at this past year and ask yourself this question. Did you ever lose your temper this past year? Okay, maybe not. Did you ever feel sad this past year? Were you ever intimidated this past year when you had to go into a big meeting? Did you ever feel a feeling of neediness, of turning and saying, oh my gosh, I don't have any money. I'm lacking something. Any one of those feelings is called olam. And if you did feel it, that's great. That's amazing. That's what gives you the opportunity to find Hashem and to connect to him. Because if you didn't have that, you'd be a malach, you'd be an angel. And who needs you? If you felt the feeling of lacking and the feeling of anger and losing your temper and those feelings of negativity, then we have what to do slichos for. Then we can begin a conversation. What's the conversation? On Rosh Hashanah, we learn, Vayikra Sham Avram B'Shem Hashem Kel Olam. Avram went to tell everybody that God is present every step of the way. And if that's going to come to you easy, it ain't real. It's got to be Yogati Umatzasi Tamin. It's hard work. It's hard work to feel Hashem every step of the way. Because we have resistance, we have blockage. And you know what the problem with doing Averis is? The problem is when Yeshayahu, the prophet, says, your wrongdoings block you from discovering your own sense of Elikus, of Hashem. So there's an incredible power in this world. It's called Elokus. It's called godliness. And every time you fall into a wrongdoing, there's no one sitting up there punishing you. See, that's the mistake. That's Ramal Kol Goyim Hashem. So the nations say, Hashem is above. What's he doing? He's saying, how many points did Yankel? Demerit, merit, up, down. Okay, 50-50. Come on. 51-49. Okay, now we wait out the scales. That's Ramal Kol Goyim Hashem. That's not God is real. That's not Kel Olam. Kel Olam is a realization that Hashem is ever present every step of the way. And I want to share with you over here what I discovered to be one of the biggest secrets of life. Most incredible thing ever, in my opinion. Let me share it with you, see what you think about it. You know how there's Wi-Fi in the air, but you can't use the Wi-Fi unless you have a receiver, and you have to be on the right frequency, and you got to plug it in. And if you don't plug it in, then the Wi-Fi in the air is just going to be there, and you can't use it. Have you ever seen electricity in your life? Do you ever know what electricity is? Likely not. But have you ever seen the power of electricity? Absolutely. Go to an outlet, plug in, choose what you want. You want a fan? You'll get a fan. Air conditioning, a heater, a car, yeah, an appliance, whatever you want, you'll get out of it. You got to plug it in. There is a force in this world greater than anything you ever knew. Nobody ever knew about electricity. Nobody ever plugged things into electricity for thousands of years because nobody knew that electricity existed. and nobody was aware of Wi-Fi. So it was right there, and nobody was using it. How sad. There is a force that's always been around, and we've always plugged into it, but we just weren't getting what we were plugging into it. And when you chap what it is and you get what it is, you can plug into it. And when you plug into it, things start working. It's wild. It's absolutely wild and incredible how things start working. The force is called God, Elokus. And it sounds, God, I don't know about that. You know how for thousands of years, people were like riding these horses and buggies. And one day someone discovered you can actually, there's electricity. And before you know it, within a very short span of time, there's rockets. Once you get the message. The memo is, there's a force called Elokus, godliness. And you got to plug into it. Of course, you plug into it through Torah and mitzvahs, but there's one other thing we need to be aware of. We say this every morning in davening. Yo'er ponov itonu selo. Hashem will illuminate his face, his pnimius, with us forever. Yo'er ponov itonu selo. Have you ever seen a person's face shine? See a face just like radiating, beaming. It's light. You don't see the light, right? But it's a light. It's a most beautiful thing. You see someone's face just shining. Hashem's face is shining. If Hashem's face is beaming, you get the most incredible brachas you could ever dream of. You couldn't imagine getting such brachas. But Hashem says one thing has to happen. Yo'er ponov sela, one word missing. Yo'er ponov itonu sela. What does that mean? If you want Hashem's pnimius, Hashem's whole being and his face to beam, if you want to get the greatest blessings in your life, there's one key. You have to reciprocate in the same way. Itanu. Ya'er panav itanu sela. You have to be in the same beaming face. Here's what happens. If your face is beaming, you are plugged into the divine force, the Elokus around you, and you elicit results beyond what you could ever have imagined. In the words of the Tzemach Tzedek, tracht gut, wird sein gut. What does that mean? Not to think that it's going to be good, but right now be sad and depressed. Tracht gut means you don't need to think about what's happening tomorrow. That's not what tracht gut is. Tracht gut is feel how awesome and unbelievable it is right now. And you say, what's amazing about the now? Look for things that are amazing about the now. And the most obvious thing ever to a Jew that's amazing and incredible is that I wake up in the morning and I think to myself, I don't know why, but I am mechelek elekam imal mamish. Neshama shenasato bi tehoirahi. God, you put yourself into me. Wake up in the morning and get excited and start beaming from that. And every time you start getting down and sad and depressed because something dumb happens, realize what's going on over here. Your energy is being hijacked and sapped. And if you fall into a sadness and a depression, what have you just done? You've detached from the power source. The power is called simcha. The power is called a beaming face. Your face needs to be beaming. Don't wait for something good to happen for your face to be beaming. Plug yourself in now. And then you say, what am I plugging in now? Life is so depressing. I got problems in my marriage. Everything's falling apart. I got problems with one of my kids over there. I got this issue with parnasa. I can't make a living. Every human being under the sun has got one of those huge, giant issues in their lives. And what's the Yetzer Hara about? He only wants one thing from you. He wants to get you down and to feel needy and broken. And then he brings you to shul. And you come to shul, you start, Hashem, please help me. And you think you're being holy because you're davening to Hashem. But you're missing the key. You're unplugged. The plug is you're supposed to ask Hashem to help you, of course. But afterwards, you're supposed to feel absolute joy. Look at your life and say, what's just unbelievable right now? What's amazing about what's going on right now? Spoke about it this morning, but Rabbi Rubashkin, who was here this week, he was saying, as I'm in prison, I'm locked up. I asked for my talis, my tefillin, my tzitzis and yarmulke. I didn't want to take off, he says. And what do I get as a result? I get thrown into solitary confinement, a cage in November in South Dakota with a little piece of cement to sit on. He's like, I'm at a moment and I feel like God has left me. Can you imagine that moment? Someone came over to me the other day. He says, I remember, I also had that, he said. I was taken to detention for different reasons. And he says, I was put into prison, and let me tell you, it's the lowest possible thing you could ever imagine. You're taken into prison, and he says, like a moment before you had freedom, you were able to do what you want, and suddenly you fall into this place, and they take away your clothing. Reb Shalom Mordechai called it the Purim clothing. He said, they make you put on the Purim clothing, that's the prison clothing. And as you put it on, and you feel lifeless, you feel like just a number. It's like a horrible, horrible feeling. And he says, I was davening, I had bitachon, I was crystal clear for 18 months that this was a nightmare, and when it came to the sentencing, Hashem would not forsake me. And Hashem would let me go free. I was 100% sure about that. So I came to the sentencing, and the judge looks at me, and she says the prosecution wants 25 years. I'm giving you 27 years. No kidding. And can I go home now? No bail. I'm like, where's the justice? What did I do wrong? Oh, go with murderers in the same cell. And I'm sitting there with a bunch of murderers. So that's a moment of feeling God forsaken. And here comes the key. And feeling God forsaken, he says, it was such an amazing thing. He says, and then the guy tells me when I get into prison, he says, take off your clothing and put on these clothing. And I look at the guy and I'm like, okay, I have to listen to you. He says, no, the tzitzis and the yarmulke as well. And the second he said that, I realized that I'm not taking off my yarmulke and tzitzis. And he sends to the chaplain, and the chaplain comes back. What an amazing moment. Chaplain comes back with a letter, and the guy, this guard in South Dakota, is reading the rights, and he says, the chaplain said that Dina de Malchusa Dina, whatever that means you got to listen to me. He says, I don't know what the chaplain is, but I'm not taking off my yarmulke and tzitzis no matter what you say. He's like, at that moment, I realized that Hashem doesn't want me to take off my yarmulke and tzitzis. No question about that. I don't doubt that. And so the fight in me began. And what was I felt like Hashem had lost me completely. I felt like I was totally God forsaken. And the second I started to fight for it, he says, it took 8.5 years. But you look back at 8.5 years, and I felt like Hashem had left me. And I'm like, no, Hashem doesn't leave me. No matter how bad this is, Hashem doesn't leave me. And so I realized God is still here. So where's God? I got to find something good going on. I say, what's good? What's good? I'm in prison, no family, no connection, Purim clothing. What's good? You know what's good? I start getting letters from people out there, and I realize that's beautiful. People care about me. I start breathing, and I realize how amazing it is to breathe. And most people would say, Mishugana, loser that you are. What are you thinking about that? You're in prison. Your life is finished. And from that moment on, things went from bad to worse to worse to worse. Every appeal was lost. Now, we know the story in retrospect. I was watching the story. I'm sure many of us were. And you saw the story as it was unfolding. And what did you realize? That this guy was real. This is what he was doing. He actually looked at all the time and he felt only the good. What is there good that's going on? And that sounds delusional. It's not delusional, Chevra. What he was doing was taking the plug, plugging it in again and again. It's such hard work when your life goes south. It's so tough. He plugged himself and reconnected and again, and he felt the energy of God manifest straight through him. And we know the story in retrospect that 8.5 years later, what happens? The most incredible thing happened. And it couldn't have happened. It wouldn't have had the same power had it not gone through all those negatives. So he wasn't going through all the negatives. What was actually transpiring was Hashem is saying, come on, you still think that something that an appeal can save you? Let's drop that. Okay, you realize no one can help you but me. Okay, now I'm going to help you. And Hashem changed the president of the United States and put him in position because one Jew plugged himself in. That's the power that you have. Yoir Panov Itonu Sela. If we are in a space of illuminating, beaming with joy. What are you beaming about? Because Kael Oilam, because I am connected to Hashem right here, right now, in this very moment. And if you're beaming, you're going to see the most incredible and unbelievable transformation taking place in your life. It's a guarantee. I don't know how long it takes. I don't know what happens. It could take 8.5 years. I don't know. But you'll see a Rubashkin type miracle in your life going on all the time. And you don't need to wait for it to happen. You'll just notice it everywhere. What are we doing by Slichos? We're saying, Hashem, sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't get the memo. I didn't get who you were. I was a little bit down because I thought that you weren't present. I didn't get that you were talking to me in that event, on that cement, on that piece of cement in the cage where you said no yarmulke and no tzitzis and 27 years and no bail. You were right there. And that's the divine power. Yeah.
I just came back from Turkey. And in Turkey, some of the things that you take for granted are not there. For one, you have to send in a passport picture to get the show 3 days in advance. Otherwise, you can't come in. Also, you have to be on time. If you miss that one little window, they open the show door, they close it.
Yeah.
They don't open it again. It's over. And then there's only one cafe there. There's 20,000 Jews in the country. There's one little cafe, and you sit, they tell you.
See, so sometimes you're going to notice the simple, most beautiful things that are happening. But I wanted you to know this. It's not just about noticing it. It's about noticing, and Hashem knows how you feel. In order for this process to work, you got to feel God's presence. You're going to be jumping for joy and beaming with excitement because I'm connected to Hashem. And if you feel down inside, now you have what to work on. That's why we're going to say in Slichos now, the words of Daniel. Daniel says, Boishti v'nichlamti lehorim eleikai ponai elecho. I'm embarrassed, Hashem. I'm embarrassed to show my ponim. I'm embarrassed because you're right there in front of me. And I'm getting sad. And things are bothering me. And I didn't get the memo of how absolutely beautiful it is to be connected to you. I didn't get it. So I'm embarrassed. What's the embarrassment? The embarrassment is me not getting who you are, and more importantly, me not getting who I am. I want to sing the Alter Rebbe's Nigun over here together with its preface. It's only sung at special, auspicious times. And Leil Slichos is one of those auspicious times. It's a moment of really feeling Hashem's presence, and there's no greater joy than being in Hashem's presence. Slichos is a time of re'odah, of trembling. This is a moment where Hashem is revealed. It's not Purim. It's not a fun and game. But the way we Jews do a re'odah is v'gilu bir'odah. We jump for joy with the trembling. because our trembling is with a jumping for joy. So let's do the niggin together. Yeah, 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 Ay la la da da ya 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 ma 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 ya 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 da 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 ya da da ya ma 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 These are the moments before we actually begin Slichos. What is it? It says, Dirshu Hashem be'imotzoi kra'u b'yosei karev. Call to Hashem. Call to Hashem when he's found. Seek Hashem when he's found. And call him out when he's close to you. What happens in Aseret Yemei Tshuva coming very soon? Hashem becomes super close to you. Hashem is always close to you. But in this time, Hashem is super close. We're still in Elul. In Elul, it's Melech Basodeh. The king is out in the field. When you say Slichos, the king's out in the field. What does that mean? The king, Hashem, is out with you. Hashem looks at you, and he looks at you and he says, wow, wow, wow. There's my B'ni B'chayri Yisrael, my only child. That's my firstborn child. Boni matem Hashem elekeichem. If we could only look at Hashem with the same lens as he looks at us, to feel how glorious this is. Wow. This is who I am. I'm a Yid, attached and connected to Hashem. There is no greater feeling than that. So sometimes in life we got problems. Sometimes there's a lacking. And the natural response is to lose your temper, to get angry, to get upset, to get sad. That's the natural response. But what does Hashem tell you? If you want to get the response, for some odd reason, we think the more stressed we get, the more chance of getting the response. The truth is precisely the opposite. The more stressed you are, the less response Hashem gives you. You want to elicit a response from Hashem, you know how you do it? Yo'er panov itanu selo. You walk around with a beaming face. When your face is beaming, when you are in a space of simcha, you elicit the greatest happiness out of Hashem. And happiness doesn't mean when a person is sitting over there and like jumping for joy like I'm a Meshuggah. That's not necessarily happiness. What is happiness? It's what's going on inside your heart. Chavra, Slichos is coming along. And what is Slichos? It's Kiruv Hamor El Anitzitz. That's Aseret Yemei Tshuva. It's that the luminary, Hashem, is close to the spark. There's a spark of light inside each and every one of us. And Hashem is saying, I want to be close to you. I want to feel the greatest closeness to you. And in Slichos we say, Ve'afgam zois, v'yoisam be'eretz oiveiim, even when you were in the hands of your enemy. Who's your enemy? The Yetzer Hara is your biggest enemy. Your enemy is a part of you that says, let's get sad, let's get down, let's feel terrible about things, let's get stressed. Hashem says, I will never despise you, I never get rid of you. Chaloisa means to finish you off. Chaloisa means to be your kala. And you can be a kala. You as a Yid have the power to be a kala of Hashem. You have the power to be Hashem's bride. What's a kala? A kala is one who yearns for God. And even if there's a stench, even if there's a horrible smell going on outside, even if everything around you is negative, you don't be in that kind of position whereby there's all stress going on all around you. Everything in life is just, You know what I'm talking about? You ever have that? That's the Eretz Oiveiim. You have the power to be Hashem's kala right here and right now. And it's so tough because the thing outside is stressing you. What are we saying? If you inside discover a space of absolute simcha, look for what is amazing and unbelievable and incredible and just good about things that are going on now. Look for it and find it. You know what you'll find? that there's so much beauty and so much good and so much God every single step of the way. But David HaMelech says in Tehillim, he says, Hatzilo, miyad kelev yechidosi. Save my yechida from the dog. A dog is a kelev. What's kelev? Kuloi leiv. He's all high. That's what a dog is. Our yechida, the very core of what it means to be a Jew, is being captured, has been taken captive by the dog, by the kuloi leiv. And so the things that stress us out, the things that bother us, are always external. We allow the external world to dictate how we feel. And David HaMelech davens, he says, Hashem, help, save miyad kelev yechidasi. Save my yechida, save my neshama from out there. Because you know what it's like when you're stressed out. Imagine you're stressed out because you lost $1. You lost $1. You're walking in the street, $1 fell out of your pocket, and you're all stressed out because you lost $1. But the same day, you walk into a business deal and you made $1 million. So is the $1 you lost going to stress you out? You made $1 million. That overrides the whole dollar that you lost. You could be stressed in life from an outside force. But if you think about the $1 million you have, you think about the fact that you're a ben of Hashem, B'ni B'chayri Yisrael, you're a child of Hashem. What could be greater than that? Allow yourself to marinate, to feel the beauty of what it means to be in Hashem's presence. It's glorious, it's exciting, it's unbelievable. It's the most amazing thing you could ever imagine. And you'll say, but it's so hard to be happy when everything's upsetting. Just realize this. When you're in a space of happiness, you're plugged in. Hashem says, when you want to be in Hashem's place, there's happiness. And it only works if you want Hashem's face to shine to you, your Eir Panav, you've got to pull off your Eir Panav Itonu Selah. If you're shining, He shines back to you. If you're down, He gives you back that. That's what Hashem means. Moshe Rabbeinu tells them in our parasha, what does he say? You saw God. Atem re'isem, you saw Hashem. Hamasay sagdoyles ashro einecho in Mitzrayim, you saw Hashem, but v'lo nosan Hashem lochem leiv ladas ve'inayim lirois loznaim lishmoya ad hayom hazeh. You didn't know what God was. You didn't appreciate what God is up until this moment. This is the moment. The moment of getting to know Hashem, that He's not external, He's not outside, He's not judgy, He's not something up there. Hashem is you, Hashem is inside you, He's your very core, your very essence. And when you allow that essence to be revealed and you just rejoice, what could be more exciting than to know that no matter what happens in life, you are a part of God. What's amazing about it is, when you get that memo, and when you feel it, and you get excited about it, then you draw all the happy things you want around you. Your life changes. That's the secret. The secret is that Elokus, godliness, is something you can plug energy into. And when you plug into it, you elicit the greatest power ever. We're about to do Slichos, and we start off and we say, Lecho Hashem Hatzdoko Velonu Boishes Haponim. What's Daniel saying? He says, Hashem, the more I feel your closeness, the more I realize, what am I doing? Not in a negative way. It's like, wow, I didn't get that I'm a child of Hashem. I didn't get who you are. What's the busha? The busha is not that I did Averis. That's a busha. That's beyond the busha. But let's not focus on that right now. The busha is the embarrassment, the most embarrassing thing in the world, that I didn't realize what it means to be a Yid. That I allowed external forces to dictate my inside feeling. What's Slichos about? I'm so sorry, Hashem. I'm sorry. From now on, I'm going to focus on what it means. and how exciting it is to have an neshama, to be a chelek elikam imal mamish, and what it means to be a part of God. And I'm going to realize that when I'm excited about that, the world around me changes because I'm plugged in. You want Hashem to help you? Don't just say, God, help me. Feel his help. Feel how God is absolutely with you. So there's a big machlekes going on in the world today, whether you should do slichos with music or without. Whatever you want, whatever makes you feel good, that's what you should do. But I'll tell you this much. If slichos makes you sad, if it makes you depressed, that's not God. Because slichos, no matter what it is, has got to make you feel up. And the way to feel up is not by bringing yourself down, it's by bringing God up. By realizing what a God we have, who Hashem is, and by realizing who Hashem's children are, and by realizing that that child that Hashem was waiting for throughout the ages, that whole being that Hashem created the world for, everything is for you. And if that doesn't make you rejoice and jump for joy, and you don't feel it in your heart, then now you know what you're saying slichos for. Sorry, Hashem, for not realizing who I am. Lecho Hashem atzdaka v'lanu b'ishes hapanim. There's a minhag, by the way, before you start slichos, you put something in tzedakah. And the reason is because you're asking Hashem, I'm going to have rachmanas on someone else. Help me, that I should feel you. And the blockage shouldn't be there. I shouldn't have a resistance in my life. I should be able to feel the joy. Slichos is a serious, serious time. It ain't no frivolous. But it's happy, exciting. The gilu birad. And so as you reach this point, it's a realization that all the things that happen to us are opportunity for us to get closer to Hashem. Hashem wants to be close to you. He's looking for you. And what he's saying is, Dirshu Hashem be'imatzei, look for him back. Kra'u b'yoisei karev. And with that, I want to wish us all that we should be inscribed and sealed for Ksivah Chassim HaTeva and Hashem HaTeva and Sukkah. A year of plugging ourselves in. Because if we realize who we are, we're going to draw the greatest energy ever. And it's not just about a Geula Pratis, that we need each and every one of us to experience a Geula Klalis. And with that, let's begin. Yeah, I think I need both of them. I need let's see. I do. Wow. Welcome back. It's been a long time. How was off the touch? 3 minutes.
Zoi Chababadin, Yedabo Yababadin, Yavai Babadin,
Guys, a little bit of a hand with Kazan and